Yeah, I had a good little time on this mall trip. I think it's like, I don't know, going to the mall still feels kind of weird because it's like, does it really still exist? Like, do malls really exist? And like, do they really have like the same, I guess, luster as they did back in the day? I don't know. Like, shopping in general, I talk about this in another video. Like, shopping in general to me doesn't have like its same finesse or feel to it. It's I don't know if it's like over consumption of like content on that's like has to do with buying stuff and doing this and doing that I just like, I feel like going to the mall and getting stuff just seems like, why are we doing this? Like, why even do it? Like, why have all this crap? Why spend all this money on stuff? But when you're in the stores, like the mall still has their luster as far as like the lighting and the music and then like people, that it makes you want to buy something, right? It still kind of has that energy to it. But yeah, I'm glad that we still have a mall here in St. Louis. This is, like I said, called St. Louis Galleria. Y'all let me know, how is this holiday season treating you? Are you feeling like it's just another season? You ready to get it over with? Are you enjoying it? Are you embracing it? I think for me, I guess like adulthood just makes you kind of just be like, okay, I'm just ready for it to get over with. Especially if you have to be around, not have to be, but if you feel like you have to be around family. If you feel like you have to be around family and it's not the most comforting situation, or it's exhausting because you feel like you have to buy everybody gifts, and then, or you don't want to be around certain people because you don't have the money to buy gifts. It can feel really like a lot of pressure. And I kind of got rid of that pressure of feeling like you got to buy gifts and do all this extra stuff for people, child. Like, take care of your immediate little circle, your family, and go from there. And if your kids are young, you don't have to teach them so much about materialism. Like, they can just enjoy small things. But maybe because my kids are small and they're not really being influenced by other kids, I haven't seen it yet. Like, that need to have so much stuff, or the desire to still have so much stuff, it's not there yet. Because they're little, I guess. I don't know. But this holiday season, for me, I'm not really focused on the holiday, so to speak. It's more so just the year. Like, man, another year has gone by in my life. And how long am I going to give myself to become the self that I see myself being? How long am I going to give myself to do that? And what I mean by that is you or I, again, I told you I'm trying to just say, like, actually associate myself with what I'm talking about instead of saying you, like I have plans for the year. I have plans for myself. And it's, you come to the end of the year, and one lady was like, if you're in the same position that you were in January and it's December, you need to change some things. Like, something should have happened. The needle should have been moved by this time, right? When you reflect on the year. And that's kind of how I want to see it, like reflecting on the year and thinking, how many years or how much more time am I going to give myself to actually become the person I want to be, to live the life I want to live. And I don't know, it's because I'm getting older or just like become more aware of things in life. I just be like, you don't have that much time. And it's not like I feel pressure, like, oh my God, I don't have any time to do this or any time to do that. It's just more so like, do we really have any time? Like, how much time are you going to let pass idly? Like, how much time are you going to just sit back and wait for life to happen? You're going to let another year go by where you sit back and wait for life to happen? Like, another year where you create a list and it's like, you halfway do it. Another year where you give yourself a little bit of a chance to do something and then you fall short. Like, is it going to be another year of that? And I'm not saying it in a way to be like, oh my God, another year and I haven't done this, I haven't done that, I'm just such a failure. It's not like that, but just like, how long are you going to keep playing? Like, with yourself, with your abilities, with your, with your desires? How long are you going to let things just go by, let time go by. And how long are you going to allow the world to distract you? Because all of this is distractions. All of this stuff. Look at all this stuff that they got in this mind. Ain't nobody in here. No one is in here. Just as like nobody's in here. Nobody's really in these stores like that. They just got all this stuff in here. It's just all distractions. It's just stuff. Like, how long are we going to indulge? How long am I going to indulge in the world and be a part of all these different things and not really be a part of it, but just, I don't know, a spectator of life? Like, how long am I going to allow that to happen? And I think consumerism and realizing how many things that we try to get and acquire, and that we go for, all these things that we go for me, it shows that like it doesn't really have any purpose. It doesn't have any depth to it. There's no soul to the things. But yet and still, for that dopamine spike, or for, to pass the time or to fill a void, these are the things that we go for. And it could be shopping. It could be watching, gossipy stuff. Like I was watching this documentary about Wendy Williams, because she just kept showing up in my news feed. And I was like, let me see what's going on with Wendy. Because I didn't like her at all. But I was just like, I'm interested. I'm interested now. So I watched it, and I just think like gossip and things like that, focusing on other people, it's such an easy distraction to have. And it's such it's a cheap way out. It's such a cheap way to go through life. It's to focus on other people's issues and problems and all that. And we know, she was going through stuff. Alcoholism is real. And instead of her maybe looking at her own issues and her own situation, like with her husband, because she knew her husband was cheating, instead of looking at that and working on that, it's so much easier to look at somebody else's situation and call them out on what they doing and what they not doing. And it's like, to what expense? Like, where does that lead you? Where does it take you? You riding inside and your focus is on somebody else because it's just easier. I just think in general, like us as people, we put so much, I can put so much stock into what's going on with other people in the world, to the point where I'm not focusing on me and what I need to do and what I want to do and how I want to live. And I think part of it is maybe we don't feel like we have control over our lives, or we don't have control over ourselves. And that's scary, to not have control over your life, to not have any type of dominion over the one thing that you can control, which is you. And we see this in society because people don't have control about what they put in their mouth. They don't have control when it comes to how they spend their money. They don't have control when it comes to how they spend their time. They don't control how they, what they say. Like it's like, for us to have a tool like a human body and a brain and a mind and a soul and a spirit, for us to have these tools, you would think that us as individuals would progress more, would be more evolved, would be more enlightened. But things like shopping, or, the holiday season, or you got to do this. It's like the world wants to constantly distract us. Okay, Christmas, Hanukkah, all of these different, celebrations that we have during the time of the year when it's like this, when things are more dormant, we focus on that so we don't have to go within. Focus on the lights and the glimmer and the shiny stuff and shopping and doing all of that. So you ain't got to worry about the fact that you sad. So you ain't got to think about the fact that your finances ain't right. So you ain't got to think about this. So you ain't got to think about that. Focus on all these little jolly things that'll get you to feel better, but they don't. Then you got that. Then you go, okay, now it's New Year. Now you got all the pressure. What am I going to do this year? How am I going to get through this year? And you try to get that dopamine pump to be like, okay, New Year, I can do it. And then it dies down. And then it's like, oh, tax season. Okay, now I can do this. Now I can do that. Even though some people they don't care about no taxes because they're like, I ain't getting no return. And that's on purpose for some people. But then you have like, oh, okay, now it's Valentine's. Now it's this. Now it's like so many things that pop up just to pass the time. It's like we as a society need so many things just to pass the time, just to get through the monotony of living. Because life is very monotonous. If you look at it, we get up, the sun is out, the weather, and then the moon, and it's a nighttime, and then you wake up, the sun is out, it's the weather, whatever happens that day as far as the weather and all that, boom, it's nighttime. It's literally cycle after cycle after cycle. It's so, you got to eat every day. You got to put on clothes every day. You got to do this every day. Like every day you're doing the same thing. Your body needs the same things every day. It doesn't change. Your body doesn't go a day and be like, oh, I don't need to eat today to, sustain myself. Like I really don't need nutrients for the next week. I'll be okay. Like, no, your body needs the same thing every single day. It needs these same things. And sometimes that can feel like you're just like, what is the point? Why am I here? And instead of focusing on what's the point, why am I here, and digging into that and exploring that, I think it becomes easier to look at everybody else and what they're doing and not go within. So I'm just being mindful of that for myself. And I'm not saying it as like a critique. It's just more so an observation. And just not wanting to feel like I'm just in a cycle. I'm just in I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not really trying to figure it out. I'm just letting it come to me, see what my next steps are in life. Because sometimes I just be like, why? Why are we doing the same stuff all the time? Like, why is life feeling like it's just endless cycle? I'm just talking. I'm rambling, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Yeah, I hope y'all doing well. We still doing Vlogmas. Like I said, I'm posting because I said I was going to post, and I'm going to talk about whatever I feel like talking about. And I appreciate y'all that's watching, that's commenting and chiming in. But yeah, I love you all. Bye.